All right. So we're all set now?
Yes.
Yes, good. Okay, well, hi everyone. Woo! Welcome to the living room. I'm so excited. I've got an amazing guest on today. But as per usual, let me just introduce myself and a bit about the living room concept so everybody can be up to scratch. My name is Brendon Israel Best. I am a life coach and I get the absolute opportunity to work with leaders to help them to achieve their optimum potential. So what that sort of looks like is on a one-on-one basis, sometimes with group coaching. My focus tends to be a lot on student leaders, and so I'm really, really excited about that. And the living room concept, oh my gosh, can you believe it? We're on day 13 already. Oh my gosh, time flies when you're having so much fun, right? And it's so exciting that we've finally reached a milestone, day 13. I think that in itself deserves a nice round of applause. Woo, woo, woo. And in fact, it's so funny because in Trinidad, we have a day, we have a national applause day today. So we're
Oh wow,
applauding
really? That's so
all,
cool.
yeah, right? We're applauding all the persons who are on the front lines,
Wow.
to all the protective services, the doctors, the medical staff, the nurses, your friendly supermarket attendants, everybody who's just making the country
The
run during this time. We
custodians that are
salute.
helping to
That's
clean things
right.
up while they
That's
work,
right.
all of them.
The chefs
Yes.
at the hospital, the
That's
kitchen staff,
right.
everybody who is just keeping the engineers who are keeping things running, the port workers. Yeah, we salute
Yes.
you guys. Awesome, awesome, awesome. And as per usual, the living room, guys, is a concept where we invite persons into a space so that they can be inspired, they can be encouraged, they can be edified, they can be challenged as well too. So I'm really, really excited for our guest today, none other than Mrs. Toyin Crandell, everyone.
Hello everybody. Super exciting to be here.
Good, good. Toyin and I are great friends. We go all the way back
Way
to
back,
York University
y'all. Past
in
10
Toronto.
years. That's right. we used
It's
to
been
we used to do
it's been a while, I
sets,
tell you.
music together,
We've done
everything.
it all. We've done it all, I tell you, and it's been such an amazing time. And I've been able to get to see Toyin just blossom. Herself a coach as well too, and she's going to explain a bit about what she does. But guys, as per usual, let's be very mindful in this moment. Let's get to the topic at hand and the content. So welcome, Toyin.
Hello everybody. So I'm like, you told me when to go, like when to introduce
Yes,
myself and all of that.
absolutely. You go right ahead. You introduce yourself. Let us know what you're about. Let
Okay.
us know who you are, and we could jump right straight into it.
Hey, Kelly. My name's Toyin Crandell, and we help people really heal their relationship with money. Like, start to relate to
Wow.
money and think about money well, so that money starts to work for them and not against them. And then we also help
Wow.
people really live out the calling and purpose of God on their lives on every front.
Nice, nice, nice. I love that. I love that. And it's really interesting because, as we get older, we sort of have, different ways that we look at different mindsets associated with money. For instance, I would have always said I was a saver. I had my piggy banks, right?
Yep.
I've had my piggy banks, and as a kid, oh, technology. As a kid, and I would have my bottles, and Toyin, which is so funny. I still have my bottles, eh? I've still got my
Really?
bottles
That's
that I
good.
still right. And on a rainy day, I can get to take out a couple bills to do something. But you're right, like we have a different mindset as we progress, and sometimes it's so needed to do some work there to sort of bring us from one level to the next. So tell us, Toyin, how did you sort of get into to this coaching, especially with respect to finances? What sort of propelled you to get into this?
My own struggle. So
Uh,
the biggest thing, a lot of people sometimes will choose career paths because it's like, this is really cool, or this is something I'm interested in, or I want to read like it's from the theoretical perspective of the conversation. Whereas for me, I never used to think about money. Like money was one of those things where I was like, God will provide and we'll be okay, right? And it just wasn't even in my periphery. And in fact, I used to think that people who were occupied with thinking about money were like low key, like this is what I really thought. It was like they were like less than spiritually because I was in such a place of faith that I didn't need to think about money because I just trust God that much. And I thought that that was cool and it was fine. I didn't have any issues with it until my family, we didn't have much money at all. And it was fine. Like I was like, we are so happy. We have the joy of God and we have so much peace. And we had a daughter and it's just, we're so blessed in these other areas of our lives. Our marriage is wonderful and blah, blah, blah. So I didn't really think about the money even more. I was doing ministry. So preaching, Bible study, worship leading, all of that. And I was like, good. And it wasn't until one day when my husband actually came to the room. I'd been eating that week. And I just noticed normally we eat together and he hadn't come in for us to eat in the room. We were in a tiny, like little box of a basement apartment. It was very beautiful. But guys, when I say it was tiny, it was tiny. Okay.
Tiny.
Our bedroom, it was a 1-bedroom. The cot for our baby, the crib for our baby was like almost on top of our bed. Like it was tiny. But we were making do with very, 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 very little. And that day I just randomly said to him like, hey babe, why you haven't been eating with me this week? What's going on? And he was like, oh, it's okay. I'm eating in the kitchen. I was like, come eat with me. Like, why are you in the kitchen? Doesn't make any sense. And he came in and I was like, what have you been eating? And he goes, I've been eating chocolates. And I'm like, what do you mean chocolates? What do you mean? What does that even mean? And so it was December and we had gotten chocolates as a Christmas present and we had run out of food and he didn't want me to be worried about it. So he was eating the chocolates for like a week while giving me the remaining food because I was feeding our baby. I was breastfeeding our baby. And when he said that, I was like, what? Wait, what? We don't have food? Like, it's that bad? And I think that was my very first serious, real wake-up call around the financial conversation. Like, okay, as much as I want to act like I am already in heaven, because, you know, it's like I really enjoy time with God and prayer and worship and all of that. But it was this wake-up call of like, I need to be able to take care of my kids. Like I need to be, we should have food to eat. And it was this place of like, okay, God, whoa, what's going on? And if I am a witness for you, how is it that I'm telling everybody that you are a provider, that you are a shepherd and we should not want? And I'm saying all these verses and we will lend to nations and we will not borrow. And like, I know all this stuff and I really believe it. And I've seen miracles. I had seen so many financial miracles. And it all of it just now bothered me because I was like, how is it that I've seen financial miracles, but we're here? How is it that your word says this, but we're here? Like it just didn't seem congruent to the abundant life that the Bible talks about us living in and having. And so that was my wake-up call. And out of that, we went into this process that he began to teach me specific things. And it's really cool because now it's like, I love Jesus and I still have that joy and I still have that peace. But I also have money and I'm not concerned about my finances anymore. And it's a very big deal because it allows you to actually start to just focus on the calling and the mission that you're on this earth for, instead of always having to think about how are we going to pay our rent this month.
Right. And, you know, that's an interesting perspective there, Toyin, because, you know, for a lot of us, we just say, well, God will provide, you know, well, you know, and this is right, me too. You know, the checks will come in the mail.
That's right.
And checks come in the mail.
And it's good. I take it. Yeah. But I don't want my next meal to be dependent on it when I have a daughter to feed.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
And I think the distinction about it too is not just because for some of us, maybe we're called to mission work in the context where you're not in a career stream or you're not running
Right,
a business. And so in
right.
that sort of a context, because context really, really matters, when we were doing straight
Absolutely.
up mission work, we were leaning on people to support us and it was good. But if you're running a business or you are in a career, then that means God is actually calling you to work in this context and money is
That's
supposed
right.
to come in and you are
That's
supposed to be
right.
the one to give to the missionary, not the one
That's right.
who's fully focused on how do I survive. And I think that's the
That's
difference
right.
because sometimes it's like I'm very careful to make sure that those people who are called to focus on preaching the gospel in that context do it and they know it's okay to really partner with others in the body of Christ or
Yes.
wherever to get that support to do the work. But really,
That's
my
right.
focus is like if you're a career professional or you run a business, then you should be in flow financially. And you
That's
should
right.
have
That's right.
more than enough so that you can actually give to the work.
That's right. That's right. One of the things, Toy, and thanks for sharing that. One of the things that I've had to deal with my mindset with regards to money is that, I'm an emotional guy. I think that was very much wired that way. I think God created me this way. But I remember reading something from Bishop T.D. Jakes, and he said, money isn't emotional. It's straight up like it is what it is.
It's
Whether
neutral.
it's neutral. There's no emotions attached to it. If you have $10 and you feel sad, it's not going to multiply to 20. It's going to remain that. And if your debt is $5,000, no matter how aggrieved you are of it, it's still going
It's
to stay
still
on
gonna be
5,000
the
until you do something.
5,000.
It's still going. And everybody, you can probably tell from her Nigerian accent. Yes, she has Nigerian roots. I love it.
And
So
it comes
Toyin,
out
tell
in these
us.
conversations.
Please, I beg. It's amazing. Oh. Listen.
Listen, Brendon, so for those of you who are watching on my page, Brendon's like Trinidad, Tobago, and he comes down to Canada here and there. But I just love it because he'll just throw down a little bit of Nigeria on it. He's just like, I beg, ooh, let's do it. Like, you'll be fooled sometimes. Okay, keep going.
But Toy, what I was saying is that, sometimes we have to have a shift in our mindset with money. And so for me, like you, I would have thought, hey, maybe if I pray hard enough, God is automatically at every single time multiply my $10 into 50,000. And I think a
Yes.
lot of people have that mindset.
Yes.
Can you speak to some
Yes.
of the limiting beliefs with
Yes.
regards to money that a lot
Yes.
of people still sort of carry around today? Let's kind of have a conversation about that.
Okay.
Limiting
Whew.
mindsets.
So I'll do two or three. Okay, I'll share two or
Okay,
three of
yeah.
the most common limiting beliefs that I see. There's about like we actually run a program where and a process where we help people really clarify like your own personal limiting beliefs. So just understand that I'm doing these three. And if you're not
Yeah.
on this list of three, it doesn't mean you don't have any roadblocks. I found that literally every single person hits a plateau, and until they get those roadblocks out of the way, they're not able to fully achieve the potential financially and in their life that they have and that they want. But
Right.
one of the top ones that I'll touch on is what you just talked about. So the mindset of God loves me, so he's just going to take care of my financial situation. So, and the reason people believe that is because God does love you,
Yeah.
but the context that we look at love in our generation is very skewed sometimes. Because a lot of the time
Yeah.
we imagine love to be a enabling type of a relationship or an enabling type of thing where God loves me, therefore he won't allow me to build muscle. So let's think about that. Let's think about that. If you are a parent and you have a child and it's getting about the age where your child is supposed to learn how to walk, and I talk about this in my book, Money Mindset Shift, we actually go over 9 different of these top myths. But if you have a child and it's time for them to learn how to walk, and you are like, I love you so much, you see them fall down. You know, they take their first couple of steps and they fall flat on their face and they're crying because it was a hard fall. And you're like, oh my gosh, I don't want you to feel that. I love you so much. Okay, come, try it one more time. And then they tried and they fell again. And you're like, oh, no. I can't keep having this happen. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to make sure you never fall again. So I'm going to hold you and I'm going to carry you as long as you need. And you carry this baby, and the baby is now a toddler, and you're still carrying the toddler, and the baby is now a teenager, and you're still carrying the teenager, because you don't want them to fall down, because they're going to try to learn how to walk by themselves, and it's going to hurt them. So you really love them, and you really want to take care of them, so you're just not going to let it affect them at all. And if you looked at somebody in real life who did that, you would say either you really hate your child, or there's like an issue here, because it's not natural to not allow your child to grow the muscle that they need to grow to walk. So why do we think that God will give us, and I'm saying this, guys, without judgment, because I did this. When I think about how much money God had allowed to come to me, that I had just let, like, it just comes in and goes, nothing to show for it. So why do we think that God would continue to be like, well, let me just continue to give you money? Oh, you don't want to learn about it? You don't want to grow? You don't want to learn what the laws of money are? You know, okay, fine. I'll make sure you never have any financial challenges miraculously. I'm just going to take care of it. Like, that's not a healthy father. And he's a better dad than we are. And so, yes, he loves you. Yes, he wants you to learn the laws of money so that you can work your own financial muscle, so that you can grow money, give back, and now be the miracle in somebody else's life. That's right. And the last thing I'll say about this one, and then we'll go to the next one, is... Okay, you know what? Let me go to the next one, and I'll tie this in here. No problem. The second limiting belief that I see a lot. So the first one was God loves me, so he's just going to take care of this picture. The second one is I pray, I tithe, and I give. So I should be good. So why am I not good? Ooh, I'm praying, mind blown. I'm tithing, I'm giving, but nothing is happening. And I'm in the same position. And there's this myth that if I pray and I tithe and I give, money is just going to come to me. It's just going to show up in my life. And it's buttressed by the fact that often in our circles, when people do have financial breakthroughs, they default on not telling you exactly what they did. They will only tell you, I prayed, I tithed, and I gave, because that's our language. That's the context in our society, especially if it's a Judeo-Christian type of a context. It's very much like God did it. And I remember starting to notice some of the people that I knew who were doing well financially. And it was like, when we would have the indoor, like chilling, talking conversations, they were like, and I invested, and I did this, and I used this law of money, and I used this law of money. But then generally when they would talk about it outside of that really comfortable conversation, it would be like, and God broke in. So someone is watching. So for example, now you see someone share a story or a testimony that God provided this house for them, or God provided a new job for them. Yeah. And you don't realize, like, I even see this with some of the people that we work with, because so our people will get like breakthroughs like crazy, like supernatural, really not normal job, increase of income, paying off debt freedom, like all sorts of things. And it happens in a year instead of 10 years. And, you know, so often our people will, when they share it, they're like, God helped me. And it's true, God helped them. But what's also true is they had a coach who helped them get over their own limiting beliefs. They implemented an actual debt freedom strategy. So it wasn't like they were just giving money to their creditors. And then they did it long enough and it actually worked.
That's right.
So often we don't talk about in the big conversations, we don't talk about the work that we did to make that thing happen. We give glory to God, which is good, but I actually think that it stops other people from getting theirs, because then all they think is, well, all you did was pray, tithe, and give. And that's why I'm very particular about letting people know we didn't go from not having food 4 years ago to a 7-figure business 4 years later just because we prayed. I had been praying for years.
You've been praying.
I've been praying. I've been tithing. In fact, I gave myself into poverty. You know, like I had been giving all and doing all of that, and it wasn't working. And I remember the first time me and my husband heard that sentence from one of our mentors, we literally looked at each other the first time as soon as he said it, and we're like, I don't know about this, man. He had said some wise things, but now I don't know. He just crossed the line, because praying, tithing, and giving is good. Okay, it is good. And I don't understand why he would even bash that. But then me and my hubby started talking, and we're like, wait, though. How many people, and this is 4 years ago, because that was my wake-up call, and ever since then, we're like, something is missing. We asked ourselves, how many people do we know who pray and tithe and give, but still don't have?
Wow.
And we were like, most.
Wow. A lot.
Most.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And so okay. And what that really taught us, and this is what we've learned over the years, is there are actual laws of money. God does not discriminate. God has principles. The same way the sun shines, and the sun shines for everybody. You know, the people who do very unjust things, and there's no difference. It's the same thing with money. You're not going to say, God, I'm so special to you, just keep multiplying that money in my account. Sure, you may see miracles here and there. The children of Israel, they received manna, right? So there was a season in their journey where God said, I will feed you with actual food from the sky. And he let that food fall, and they ate it. Then when they were walking into the promised land, he said to them, now it's your turn to till the ground, do the stuff, do the work, and receive.
That's right. Mm-hmm.
And so many of us get those manna seasons, and we think manna is supposed to feed us the rest of our lives. And he's like, no, you've missed it. And what really, and so I'll just say those two, because I know I've given a lot here. But what really gets my heart about all of this, guys, is stewardship.
Yes.
Like, when I really thought about the way I had mismanaged money, and just money just running through, no plan, no nothing, me sabotaging myself. God has given us so many opportunities. If you're watching this, you have internet. If you have internet, you have opportunity to really transform lives and to really change your family legacy. Like, there is no excuse in our generation for being in lack when you have access to these things.
That's right.
It's different if you're in a place where there's no access to internet, where there's no access to to the type of opportunities that are available right here.
Yeah. And
so when I think about the level of opportunity God has given us, and I think about the amount of money God has given us, an average person earning $30,000, which in some countries is the poverty line, but an average person earning $30,000 for 20 years is $600,000 that comes into our hands. And God goes, so what did you do?
That's right.
And we're like, I don't know. And that is what motivates me. Like, yo, I want, not just for me, but for our clients, for the people we know, I want us to be able to say, God, this is what happened with that. And we talk about the parable of the talents, and but we talk about it in the context of gifts. We're like, because talents in our day is a gifting. Like, I can sing, so I'm not going to bury my singing, and I'm not going to bury my typing or whatever other skill. But the story was about money.
Yeah.
So now we're doing all these other gifts while wasting all our money. And Jesus is like, did you even read it? Did you read it? because I
That's right.
said, don't bury the money. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, something I wanted to pick from there. You mentioned, just being really persistent and observing the opportunities no matter
Where
where you
you
are,
are.
what you are, what season you're in. How can you
Yes.
speak to that person, Toyin, who is going through a really hard time now, during this pandemic period? And, what sort of advice, what sort of tips would you be able to give to persons, very practical
Yes.
in sort of thriving through this?
Okay. The first thing I will say, guys, in the middle of this COVID crisis is get help.
Yeah.
You don't know what you don't know. And I have,
You are the second person who said that this week. You
listen,
don't know what you don't
you
know.
don't. When you
Right.
are overwhelmed financially, your brain can't think of creative, wonderful ideas to help you get unstuck. When you're stuck,
That's
you're
right.
stuck. That's just
That's
it.
right.
You are stuck. And so
Yeah.
what you do is you say, yo, I'm gonna put my hand up. I'm going to get help. I'm going to get an external perspective and not just any Joe Blow off the street. Guys, free opinion is the most costly opinion you can get. Oh, I'm just going to go ask my cousin to tell me what to do and like how to get a job. And I've been spending this long to find a job. Right now, let me let you guys know, if you're watching this, in this COVID crisis, this has been the time of one of the greatest opportunities, not just for
That's right.
myself, but for our clients. We are having people
right.
land new job positions. People are doing interviews online and they're getting the jobs. People are increasing
right.
their income. People are paying off debt.
right.
One woman paid off 4 credit cards. People are investing into stocks who have never done stocks in their lives because they worked it to have extra cash to do it so they can have growth. Like, guys, what you don't know, you don't know.
That's right.
And if you keep
That's
on
right.
trying to do what you've always done, you will continue to get what you've always got. So
That's right.
the people think that it's a let's just I'm just talking. I'm not talking. This is for real. If you don't
That's
get
right.
help, you stay
That's right.
stuck. I have so
That's
many
right.
people who will tell me, Toyin, no, I'll figure it out. And I'm like, it has taken you. Christelle is like, Brendon. She's like, she's like, it's so good to see you both. I'm taking notes. Toya's like, free opinion is the most costly opinion you can get. Yes. Like,
Yeah.
so people will be like, Toyin, are you just saying this? And I'm like, listen, I have talked to people who will tell me, I've been stuck for the last 10 years. God gave me this promise. God gave me this word, and I haven't seen it happen. And I'm doing it like all I know to do, but it's not happening.
Yeah.
And then they speak to us and they'll say, so I'm going to go try again. And I'm like, if you tried, you're not lazy. Guys, you're watching this. You're not lazy about this. And I know that because I know a lot of people who are struggling financially. It's not for lack of hard work. It's not for lack of showing up. It's not for lack of trying. You're actually trying. You're actually working budgets. You're actually doing all these different things. But the problem is you don't know how to do it.
Right.
And I remember someone said last night, and this is the last thing I'm going to say because this is so important. Someone said last night, they were like, Toyin, they weren't talking to me. They were talking to one of our coaches. And they were like, one of our challenges is we live in a very rural town. So there's no way we've been trying to get jobs for the longest time and it's just not been happening. And it's almost impossible because we live in such a rural town, in such a small town, there's no jobs available. And our coach, she said back to them, she was like, that's why you need Toyin's help. I understand that you haven't found a job in your rural town. That's why you need her help to help you find a job that pays you well in your rural town. And it was so interesting because when she just like shared that perspective, she was like, I was talking to someone and they said it's specifically about getting this job in the rural area. And I was like, wow, I remember somebody else who said the same thing. She said, in fact, this other woman's situation was more complicated. And let me say it because so that you understand what you don't see, you don't see. Her situation, she had taken HR, okay? She studied, she paid for that HR certification. She had never worked in HR in her life. even though she had the certification from 10 years ago and had paid for it, she'd always worked in administrative positions, like non-HR administrative positions. And she'd always wanted to work in HR, but she didn't know about us. So, we can't go back in time. That's cool.
Right. Yeah.
She wanted to work in HR. Now, by the time she contacted us, she had just moved out of the urban city into like 3 hours away in a boon town. Like, I don't remember the name of the town. It was like real tiny. And she had she had maternity leave. She had just had twins. So having twins, it's like, that is double the walk. It's double the blessing, it's double the work, right? And so she was like, I can't practically do a 3-hour commute and 3-hour commute back. I want to go back into the workforce. I have nothing for the last year. So already I have to explain why I wasn't working for the last year. And some employers are open to that. Some employers just don't even think about mat leave. You weren't working for the last year. So you don't even get in the door to tell them it was mat leave. So she's like, I haven't been working for the last year. I live in this boon town. I cannot work in the urban area because it's too far. And then she said, I want to work in HR. I've worked in admin all my life. I paid for the certification. That's really what I love, but I've never been able to get in there because I apply and I get rejected. So I want to work in HR and I want to increase my income. So I want to earn more than I was earning before I went on mat leave in this new position. Can you help me? And I was like, yes, we can. Let's do this. This is going to be so much fun. And so 3 weeks later, she had gotten about 3 interviews so far. Okay. She had turned down. So we helped her, got her resume together, did this, did that, coached her through the whole process. She puts in her application. She gets interviews. She gets offers. She turns them down because she was like, it's really good, but it's not quite it. It's really good, but it's not quite it. Then there was a 4th opportunity that came up and she's like, Toyin, this is it. It was an HR position in her little boon town, paying her more than she was earning before mat leave. And obviously she still was just coming back from mat leave. And we walk her through the same process. She just did the same process, wash, rinse, repeat. She gets the position. But not only did she have a raise from what she was earning before on her base salary, this new position had this commission bit where she was now able to scale her income even further. And I remember when she started the position, in the beginning, she was like, I guess it may take me like 6 months to be able to really max out my commissions. And I was like, girl, you just did all this mindset work. Just take that trash out of your mind and let's do this thing. And she was like, you're right. It's so true. If I could get the position, why not max out the commissions? She maxed out the commissions in her first month and just kept going.
Wow.
So just to say, your situation feels overwhelming and feels unique to you. But when you work with someone who all they do is help people break through financially and get their first house and get their real estate investments and get that increased income and pay off the debt completely and not go back in debt and do all these goals, then just go get their brain. Go borrow the wisdom. You don't have to recreate the wheel. I'm done.
Yes.
Because I could talk. I could talk.
I love that. Because one of the things that I have been really honing in on, Toyin, is that, the misconception that people think wealth equal money only, a wealth equal assets only, and it's really, really interesting. It's really, really interesting because there's so much, there's connections, there's favor, there's all these different things that are associated with wealth. Yes. But we just limit
we don't see it. Money. Abundance is, if you guys ever watch any of the videos on our page, we do a lot of client testimonial conversations, and you'll hear over and over and over, people will come to us to talk about the money. And then in the videos, they're like, I'm a whole new woman. I'm a whole new guy. I used to be like this. I used to be so pessimistic. My first thing was like, what's going to go wrong? And now I think free. I have peace. I can sleep. I don't need physio anymore. The stress is off my shoulders. My family is more connected. We sit at the dinner table and we feel the gratitude. I'm so happy. I'm so grateful. And it's not a fake thing. It's not a lie. And it's not because I have money now. For some of them, for all of them, they get the shift of all this abundance, and then the money follows. And that's the truth. We want the money to to bring our joy, to increase our happiness, to make us feel fulfilled. And you don't understand that unless we can really get those negative things out of your subconscious and then get you to that place of true fulfillment, the money is attracted to that.
That's right. That's right. According to one person that I work with, he says, you pursue purpose and profits will persist.
That's right.
And so once you get into that framework, that mindset that, listen, I've got to do what I have to do. I've got a partner.
Yes, that's right.
It's like a friend of mine was saying, revival has two things. Right. One, it's our responsibility to partner with God, and it's also the sovereignty of God as well too. And a lot of times we forget about the partnership part with God, which I think is huge. Right? That we've got a part, we have a part to play. Yes. If you don't have oil, the car isn't going to move.
That's right.
So you need to have it.
And God respects that. Like God honors His own principles. He honors his own principles. If you think about the woman with the jar of oil, where she was running out and there was a famine in the land, and Elijah came to her and said, and now this is a story of provision, and we'll talk about, oh my gosh, God multiplied her oil. But what did she have to do first? She had to go to her neighbors and borrow jars.
Connection. That's
favor and borrow those jars so that she could take the little bit that God had given her and pour into it, and then see multiplication. You have to actually be willing to go out of your comfort zone. I'm sure she wasn't comfortable going to all her neighbors and being like, hey, can you give me a jar? Hey, can you give me a jar? When me and my husband decided to shift financially, we had nothing. We didn't have food. We didn't have money for food. So you can be very sure we didn't have money for any sort of coaching. Okay, I have another conversation I got to jump on. But for sure, we didn't have extra, and we needed to actually get resourceful and think and say, okay, what do we need to do to get what we need to get help, so we never need to do that again in order to get help.
That's right. Wow. Oh my gosh, Toyin, this is, and I'm sure you guys are probably like teeming with just joy of what she's sharing. Toyin, listen, I know our time is wrapping up really, really quickly, but just give us some parting words. Maybe give us a few practical tips that we can take. Just to move from one mindset with money to the next. Just really quickly.
First thing that I'll say, I don't know what the number is now because we've said a couple of practical things. Okay, so one, get help. Two, figure out what your money mindset roadblocks are. If you don't know what is holding you back, you can't remove it. You can't fix it. Yeah. So you need to figure out exactly what it is that has been limiting you. If you need help doing that, holla at us. But at least start brainstorming. Pull out a pen and paper and say, what are the actual patterns I'm seeing in my life? For example, does money come in easy but also go out very quickly? For example, do I always have to work 3 times harder for the same amount that other people are chilling and get? For example, do I have like these windfalls of paying off debt? For example, I'll consolidate debt and I'll refinance the house and I'll do bankruptcy, but the debt comes right back. That's a pattern. So what are the actual patterns in my life that give me a clue as to what is going on in my brain? What are the thoughts that have been holding me back from moving? And then you want to shift that. You want to shift that. So what I would say before we jump off, I don't know if, Brendon, am I allowed to share my stuff and they can contact us? Because I'm sure there's people that are like, yo, Toyin, help me to figure this out. So if you are watching this and you know that what you want to do is you want to live out the full will and calling and purpose of God, and you are sick and tired of seeing yourself limited because of something as neutral as money. Book a call with myself and my team. Our link is toyindata.com/finance. toyindata.com/finance. Book that call. Let's have a conversation. Let's figure out exactly what it is that is keeping you in this place financially.
That's right. And as well too, Toyin, for the persons on my Best Fit channel as well too, feel free to send me a message as well too. I can more than happily connect you with Toyin for you guys to have a conversation as well too. But Toyin, listen, this has been tremendous. I feel as if I have so many things that I need to go now mull on.
That's right.
Just even think about writing out, because I, personally speaking, I've committed this. Yeah, I'm so glad my wife is here to just be that person to. She senses me,
yes.
Just to be able to write some things down, and just really say, what, let's be faithful, let's be consistent, let's be proper stewards here of the finance that God has already given to us, and wants to give us,
exactly.
So Toyin, listen, thank you so much.
Thank you, Brendon.
Thank you. Blessings to you and the family. So guys, listen, I know this was an amazing session. I know you will have probably tons of questions. Feel free to message me, guys. And I'm so grateful that you guys were able to join us here today. And thank you for Toyin for making this happen as well too.
Thank you, Brendon.
Listen, guys, have a great time.
All right. We'll see you guys in the